some of the things that we were noticing yesterday that I want to go over. So if your word is above the horizon line and the vanishing point, that means that you're going to be looking up at it. Basically, wherever the vanishing point is, that is our point of view. If we were a human being looking at this space with these words in it, our eye level would be here. And so if the word is above our eye level, we're looking up at it and we're going to see the bottom of each of those letters. Now, the same goes for the bottom, it's just the opposite. So if your word is below the horizon line and the vanishing point, then that means that our point of view is here, so we're looking down at those words. Words that are below the horizon line, we're going to be looking down at them, and so we're going to see the top. When you are making your orthogonal lines, make sure they're always going to the vanishing point. Even if you're pretty sure you know exactly how to do this and you could guess at it because you're good at drawing things that are 3D looking, make sure that you're not lining up your straight edge with your corner and then drawing a line away from the horizon line. That's definitely going to start to throw you off. So your lines should not be going away from the horizon line. When you are making the back of your shape, let's start with this little B right here. It's the same as this assignment. So whatever shape is on the front, in this case it's a rectangle, the same shape is going to be the back of it because this is a box, and so the front is a rectangle, that means the back is a rectangle. Here's one that's a triangle. If the front is a triangle, then that means that there's a back that's a triangle too. We just can't see it because it's on the other side. And so the lines that we are making to represent the back of your shape are going to be parallel with the ones that are on the same side as them. So my B here, what we're drawing is the back of the B. And so you could think about it as there's going to be another B that's just a little bit smaller over here. So this line right here I can see very clearly is pretty vertical. So I'm going to draw a vertical line here. And then the line that's next to it there is kind of horizontal, so I'm going to make a horizontal one. And this line right here is curved, so that means that the one that's going to be at the bottom of this line is going to be curved. And the reason is because back behind here, there's another B. It's the front and it's the back of this letter B. And so when you are drawing these, be thinking about your orthogonals for sure, being the starting and stopping points of these lines, but that this line right here mimics this line right here. They're doing the same thing. And this line right here mimics this line right here. And that one with this one. And so if it helps you to draw the letter twice, then that's fine, you can do that. But anything that's below the horizon line, we're going to be seeing the top of. Anything above the horizon line, we'll be seeing the bottom of. Here's some other ones that I've been working on. So this one shows you how your orthogonal lines can be really short so that your letters look like they don't stick out very much. Or they can be really long like this one, so that it makes it look like your letters are much deeper, they stick way out. And that's totally your choice, how long your orthogonal lines are. But they should be pretty much consistent all the way around. When I am drawing mine, I usually don't draw my orthogonal lines all the way to the horizon line because that's just more to have to erase. But wherever a line is going toward this vanishing point and then hits another shape, you stop, because it needs to look like it's going back behind it. Don't forget to start with your letter that is closest to the vanishing point. That helps me out a ton. So I started with my Z, and then I did my A and my I, and then I did my M and my A. Now I'm going to start going this direction with it. And so I would go to the N next. Don't just guess. That's another big thing that I'm seeing, is people that are guessing. And I could guess. I could guess all right. I have an art degree. I know what I'm doing. But even if I do, it is not going to look nearly as good as the ones where I actually use the straight edge. You can see a big difference there, right? And we can too as your teachers. When we're grading these, we're going to be seeing, okay, so we're working with letters. They're a little bit more complicated than the shapes, but we want to see, have you improved? And the reason we want you to make some shapes here that are letters that are more complicated is that you have more times to try, and so you get more chances to get lines correct. It means you get more points if you've got lots of correct lines. And so we're looking for improvement over the original one we did with just the shapes. But the concepts are still the same. Here we have a heart in front, and there's a heart in the back. We just can't see the whole thing. We're only seeing part of it. Same thing with any of the other letters that are in here. And so the bottom of my B, here I'll color code it. This bottom curve of my B will make it orange. It needs to have a curve here that matches it. The bottom of my O, same thing. Should have a curve that matches it. My V has a couple lines. This sort of diagonal one. And then it has a horizontal one. And it has another diagonal over here that we're seeing on this side. And I want it to look like it's about the same distance between these two as those two. And so the letters start to come together if you think about it in terms of parallel lines. The back of the E is parallel with the back of the E. The bottom of the E is parallel with the bottom of the E. You might see maybe a little bit of that in here. I'm not going to see very much on that one. And so take your time with it, make it look nice. Check that we're seeing the bottom of our above shapes and we're seeing the top of our below shapes. Don't make these lines without a straight edge. If you don't have a ruler, use anything that you have around that's a straight edge. Anything that's got a straight edge. I will say that a piece of paper is pretty thin, and so you might not want to use a piece of paper as your straight edge. But if you take a piece of paper and you fold it a few times, then a folded piece of paper is probably sturdy enough on this edge that it probably would make a good straight edge. Now over here I started with my outside letters and I'm going across. That means my E is about to run into my L, and I'm not sure exactly where to make it go, so it does get a little bit confusing if you don't start with your shapes that are closest to the vanishing point, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. So keep your letters parallel with each other's lines. You get to decide how far away they are from, you know, how deep back they go as far as the depth of them. And whatever you have happening on the front, you're going to have the same thing happening on the back. It's just a little bit smaller, just a little further away. Oop, I left a corner. Line it up with vanishing point. And this little line here is going to match that one right there. Got another curve here that matches this little guy. And it's starting to come together. Take your time, make it look nice.